Hey everybody, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to talk about the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K versus the Panasonic GH5. So a quick disclaimer, this is not going to be a side-by-side comparison. There are a lot of those on YouTube, so if you want to watch something like that, just go ahead and YouTube it very quickly after you watch this video. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the pros and the cons of both cameras, and at the end we're gonna kind of decide if I only had a chance to buy one camera, which camera would I buy. So both cameras are great cameras, but it really depends on what you want to do with these cameras. If you want to do video, if you want to do photos, the GH5 definitely has an advantage over the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, because the GH5, besides the fact that you can do amazing cinematic looking video, you can take really nice, great pictures. So the GH5 comes with a 20.3 megapixel sensor, so you can definitely take professional quality photos as well as 4K 10-bit internal video. The Pocket 4K, on the other hand, is more of a cinema camera. This is not a camera if you want to vlog, if you want to do a little bit of everything. This is a camera for independent filmmakers or people who want to do narrative or documentary work or commercial work. So the video qualities of the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K are definitely unbelievable. And I think if you compare video for video, I will have to give the edge to the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K because of the cinematic images that you can get out of this camera. But if you want to do both video and photo, the edge definitely goes to the Panasonic GH5. Price. Both cameras are priced nowadays are about the same price. You can get a Panasonic GH5 for around $1,500, $1,600 brand new, and you can get the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K for around $1,300. This does not include any extra batteries nor lenses. Battery life. This one definitely goes to the Panasonic GH5. I have 2 batteries with my GH5 and I've been able to shoot all day. The battery life in the Panasonic GH5, it's second to none. It's really good, super reliable. If you have 2 to 3 batteries with a GH5, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about running out of battery. The batteries are small and compact. If you have only a couple of batteries, you shouldn't really have to worry about battery life too much. On the other hand, the Pocket 4K, the battery life is not really great. This camera uses Canon batteries and they last around 35 to 45 minutes depending on the battery. In my personal experience, the original Canon batteries last longer. They last around 50 minutes if the battery is new, but if you get one of those cheap similar batteries from Amazon, they don't last as long. They will give you around 30 to 35 minutes of recording depending on the battery, but definitely the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K battery life with these Canon batteries are not great. You can definitely have an external solution for the battery life. This will definitely help fix that problem, but this adds to the price and adds to the camera body. You will have to have some kind of rig to be able to mount different batteries. So this one definitely goes to the GH5. Internal codec. Here's where the Pocket 4K really shines. You can record internal ProRes and you can record internal RAW, and hopefully soon we will be able to record internal Blackmagic RAW. Having the capabilities of shooting RAW internally with a camera at this price, it really is amazing. You can definitely notice the difference when you shoot RAW and you're able to rescue those highlights and rescue those shadows and make pretty much any image look beautiful. Combining the RAW capabilities with the color science of Blackmagic, you can definitely get some beautiful cinematic images out of this $1,300 camera. The GH5 is not that bad either. You can record internal 10-bit at 400 megabytes or megabits per second, and for the price of the camera and the fact that it's a hybrid camera, a photo and video camera, being able to get internal 10-bit is really a big deal. Really get beautiful images out of the GH5, very cinematic. Those 10-bit files, you can definitely push your color grade in post-production. It's really a nice image. The only issue that I have with that codec is that it just doesn't really work very well with Adobe Premiere. It lags a lot, it's just very choppy. It's really annoying to actually have to convert those files to ProRes to be able to edit comfortably and without any lagging and without any issues. So I wish Panasonic or Premiere or Adobe would work together to fix that, so it actually works good, it actually works better. It's still awesome that we can shoot 10-bit internally, but when it comes to codecs, in my opinion, the best camera here is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K because of the ProRes and RAW capabilities internally. Variable frame rates, slow motion. Both cameras can shoot 4K 60 frames per second, which is awesome. You can shoot 4K 60 frames per second in RAW using RAW codec or ProRes with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Unfortunately, with the Panasonic GH5, you cannot shoot at 400 megabits per second. You have to downgrade to 200, I believe it is. Still looks beautiful, it's still awesome, but it's not as good as the slow motion in the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, in my opinion. Internal stabilization. This one goes to the Panasonic GH5, of course. The Panasonic GH5 has an amazing internal stabilization. You can shoot without a gimbal, without a tripod, and your images will be 90% usable. It really is amazing how stable your shots can be, and if you combine that with a lens that has internal lens stabilization, it really is amazing. You can run and gun without a tripod, without a gimbal, and you'll get great images. Unfortunately for the Pocket 4K, it doesn't have internal stabilization, so it's not as good. You can shoot handheld, but it really isn't that great. You definitely need some kind of stabilization, either a monopod, tripod, or a gimbal, which if you haven't seen my video about working with the Pocket 4K and the Ronin S, I'm gonna link it down below so you can check it out. You can get some awesome images combining those two. But the winner in this category is definitely the GH5. Autofocus, well, the GH5, it's definitely better now, although people still complain about the autofocus on the GH5. With the latest firmware update, I must say that I think it's pretty good. Right now, I have autofocus and it seems it's tracking my face and it seems to be working. It seems to be the autofocus to be very responsive and very nice. It used to be definitely way crappier, but now it seems to be pretty good. I mean, you tell me, right? Where's the Blackmagic Pocket 4K? It doesn't have a continuous autofocus. There's a new update for the autofocus with the Pocket 4K, so we'll see what that looks like in the next couple of days. But again, the Pocket 4K was not designed for vloggers or for people who do that kind of work. I think that's why it's not a big deal that the Pocket 4K doesn't have a continuous autofocus. But I mean, if it was something awesome and reliable like the Canon autofocus, I would definitely take it, you know. But when it comes to autofocus between these two cameras, the GH5 has a better autofocus. Low light capabilities. Here, definitely the Pocket 4K shines. It has dual ISO, the first one at 400, the second one at 3200. So you can have a really nice performance out of this camera in low light conditions. Whereas the Panasonic GH5, based on my experience, it really is not that great under low light. Anything above 1000 ISO starts looking a little grainy. After 2000 is basically crap. And if you're shooting in slow motion, even worse. So when it comes to low light performance, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K is definitely the winner. The monitors on both cameras are actually pretty nice. They both have pros and cons. The flip out screen of the Panasonic GH5 is great, especially if you're vlogging or if you're filming yourself, like right now. I'm able to flip out the screen and look at what I'm shooting. But the screen is tiny. Sometimes when you're shooting outside, when you're actually shooting on location, it's really hard to see what's in focus, what isn't. It's a tiny little screen. Whereas the screen on the Pocket 4K is nice and bright, it's really big so you can actually see what you're shooting, but it's not a flip out screen. You cannot even tilt it up and down, which that would have been actually nice when you're shooting low or high angles. You really need to like kneel down to be able to see what you're shooting. So if you're actually on a professional shoot, you definitely need an external monitor for that camera, which adds cost to the camera. So when it comes to the camera monitor, I think the GH5 also wins. The user interface in the GH5 is like any other Panasonic DSLRs. It's lots of menus, lots of options, lots of complex stuff. It takes a while to get used to, it takes a while to learn. User interface on the Pocket 4K, it's beautiful, I love it. It's simple, it's straight to the point. Definitely in this category, the Pocket 4K is the winner. When it comes to storage, both cameras have good options. The GH5 shoots with SD cards, although if you want to shoot 10-bit internally, you need to get special SD cards, which are more expensive. The Pocket 4K, on the other hand, the internal recordings, you will have to use a CFast card, and those cards are really expensive. It has the alternative though of using an external SSD, which is what I do. These SSDs are not that expensive. They're about $100 for 500 gigabytes, which is awesome. They have to be outside of the camera, which is, you know, changes the ergonomics of the camera a little bit, but it's not a huge deal in my experience. But I believe that it's actually a very nice option that you can use the CFast cards internally if you have the budget and the money to do it, or you can use the SSD through a USB-C connection. So if I had to choose between these two cameras and I was able only to get one of these, I would definitely, I think I would have to go with the Panasonic GH5. At the end of the day, it's more versatile for the kind of work that I do. I do both video and photography. Mostly video. I'm more of a videographer, cameraman, editor, but I do a lot of photography too, and I like to have both options in one camera. Being able to get beautiful pictures and also shoot professional video out of a $1,500 camera, it's pretty amazing. It's compact, it's small, the battery life is great. Yeah, I think between the two of them, the Panasonic GH5, it's the winner. I still love the Pocket 4K though, amazing. If I can have a second camera, I will definitely get that one. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know which one is your favorite. And if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.